Hello and welcome to the Teach Music 21C podcast series. I'm Merlin Thompson, the creator and founder of Teach Music 21C, a professional development community of music studio teachers. And if you'd like to know more about what we're up to, well, just head over to teachmusic21c.com. There's a ton of resources waiting there for you. And today, I'd like to welcome once more Lorrie Merrell, longtime colleague and member of the Teach Music 21C executive team. Welcome, Lorrie.
Hello.
Yeah, so Laura, here we are at the beginning of the school year. Teachers and students have got lots of things going on. Let's just talk a little bit about what music teachers can do to kind of ease students back into the routine of music lessons.
I just started back this last week, and I have 5 of my own children, so I know how busy parents are, and you get lots of papers and to sign and assignments and things to get. And so I try to make the first week back as calm and relaxed as I can. And the students will come in and say, oh, I don't know if I can play this. I haven't played all summer. And I just remind them that rest is good. I said, well, you've had a rest from piano, and after rest comes growth. So no worries. We'll just start back. Play me something that you know or that you love, and we'll just start there. And so I try to relax everybody and make them feel welcome and safe and leaving refreshed and ready to get back into it.
Amazing. And the key is really to start with things that students can already do. And before we jump into new material and new repertoire, new activities, just going back to those pieces that we were visiting the last time around. And I like to always keep in mind, if we're going back to repertoire that students were working on before, we need to work on it in a different way this time around.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to start with something old and familiar and something that you know, and do some different things with it while you're thinking of what you want to be studying this year. So next week, I'll be asking them about goals and things that they might want to visit this year, and music that they want to play or goals that they want to achieve as far as technique or playing or whatever, and write those down. And then, it's just step by step getting back into things. But starting with familiar is the best thing, because that's where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And it just takes just a few days for some students to really get back to where they were at the end of June. I mean, I always find it really amazing. I find it this time of the year really exciting, because if we pay attention to how students are growing, we can really shed light on how they have the ability to really quickly put things back together and get things going. It's really amazing.
It is. I had one student, I said, well, just play this. And they played, and then when they were finished, they just looked at me pretty surprised. And I said, see, you don't lose much. Isn't it great? I mean, because you've done so much last year and you had a rest, and it rested, and it actually got better while you were resting.
So it really, sheds light and kind of highlights for us of this whole practicing routine, and how, music teachers, we come from the background of the more you practice, the better you can get, if you can just keep everything going all the time during the summer. But it's really interesting to have this relaxed experience during the summer, and for students to come back and to be able to play and to really reach that level of excellence that they had quite quickly.
Yeah, it's just the way the whole world works and how our bodies work and how our instincts work, is that we all need rest in anything that we do. And it's a teaching tool for the students to realize that, because they're so young and they go, especially the teenagers. And to let them see what happens after a rest period and how important that is to their lives is a great learning experience for them for their whole life.
Yeah. And so, I always find it interesting that as teachers, we've got all these different roles to play. And, we're leading students along part of the time we're following students. But one of the roles that I really like to pay attention to is the idea of my role as the observer and reporter. So I'm the person who's keeping track of what's going on. And sometimes, students get through certain periods like the summer, and they're here in the fall, and they make quick developments. But unless you kind of point it out for them, they may miss that. They may kind of just, miss that really amazing thing that went on. So being the observer and the reporter for students, to let them know this is what's going on, and did they notice how quickly it took them to get back to a good playing level again. So I find that responsibility a really fun one to take on.
Yes, it kind of goes back to the word reflection also, to stop and reflect with them and talk to them about it, so that your observation and your reflection, they can bring it back to you and make them realize that, and maybe bring it into other parts of their life. What else have you rested? One little girl here today, I said, what happens when you sleep at night? And she says, well, I just sleep. And I said, well, I think you probably grow. And she'd never thought of that before. So it gave her a whole new way of looking at things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So there it is right there. Teachers being the observer and kind of the what will I say, the prompter for that reflective moment, to just let's sit back and look to see what was happening and see if we can make sense of it or make meaning of it that we might otherwise have missed if we were just jumping in, getting pieces learned and going on to the next task and so on.
Yeah, it's a great learning experience for them, which is another thing that music does. It goes so beyond just a piece of music. It's a life learning skill in many aspects of their life that enrich them.
So one of the things that I'm looking forward to is reminding students about the whole what are they going to do with music when music lessons are done. And I'm looking forward to it. So I haven't started teaching yet. Next week is my first week back. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if students still know how to play Happy Birthday, if they've got a piece that they can teach a friend at school this week, whatever it is, whether it's the first line of Furley's or it's, some popular song or the theme from Star Wars. So I like just to jump into those things to make sure that students are keeping those really valuable resources really right in their fingertips. And over the summer, I'm curious, did they show anybody how to play a certain piece, or did they play for somebody's birthday party? Did their parents have a birthday over the summer? Did they play for it or not? So this idea of keeping that whatever's going on in the future as close as we possibly can, that's something that I want to pay a lot of attention to right from the very, very beginning.
As usual, you've brought that's a great thing, Merlin, I hadn't thought of, is those pieces that they can play all their life, like Happy Birthday, and things to a show-off piece for their friends, and to bring those back. That's a huge connection to keeping music in their lives for the next 10 and 20 years, and to open up that conversation again. I talked to them about that a few times at group or at lessons, about how we're going to keep music in their lives. And that's a great idea. So thank you. I'm going to do that for sure.
Yeah. So, that might be a really great place just to wrap things up today, because we've talked about where are we right now? How are we recovering things from June when we left things off? And then also we're looking just a little bit to the future as well. So it's a really interesting perspective to keep the past, the present, and the future all in place at this very busy time of the year.
Yeah. So the past, the present, and the future, and ease into it step by step. I think making them feel safe and giving them and motivating them so that they do want to get back into the seat and they do want to get going, and so that you can have another great year.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I'm Merlin Thompson. I've been here with Lorrie Merrell today, and we're from Teach Music 21C. We've hoped to see you at our next podcast. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining in. Thanks, Lorrie, for this morning.
Thank you. It's always nice to chat.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in. I'm Merlin Thompson. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.